Today we're going to be going over lesson 7. And this is the area of trapezoids and other polygons. So we're going to figure out how to find the area of the trapezoid. Now the trapezoid is a shape that looks like this. Okay, that's an example of a trapezoid. And we have a new formula that we're going to be using when working with the area of a trapezoid. So the formula that we're going to use for this is area equals 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times the height. If you notice with this trapezoid example here that you have two different bases, and so we're going to need to use both of these bases to find the entire area of this trapezoid. So let's go ahead and label our bases and our height. I'm going to label this one as base 1. This will be base 2. And this will be our height. Notice here that we do have our right triangle within our trapezoid, and we can use this right triangle to help us determine one of the bases and especially our height. So we know that when we have our right triangle within our shape, that we can show which lines are connected to the right triangle. So this line is touching this line, so this will be this will be our height, and then this line is touching this line, so that will be one of our bases. As we are going through this, pause the video at any point to take your own notes and follow along, as these will be your notes for lesson 7. Alright, now we have our formula for area. Let's go ahead and fill it in with the information that we are given. So for area, we have A equals 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times our height. Let's substitute all of our information with what we know. We do not know our area, so we'll rewrite our A. We'll bring down our equal sign. We are not using our 1/2, so I'll bring that down. Then let's go ahead and substitute our B1 with our base 1, which is 0.8. Let's bring down our plus sign. Let's substitute our base 2 with the base 2 that we found. And then let's go ahead and substitute our height with the height that we found, and in this case it was 1. Now with your bases, you can go ahead and you can switch the bases. For example, if you want this to be base 1, go ahead and label that base 1. And then this would be base 2. Because of the commutative property, you can flip-flop these two with addition, and you will still get the same answer. So from here, let's go ahead and solve our formula. We have not figured out our area yet, so I'll rewrite the A, bring down my equal sign. I have not used my 1/2 yet, so I'll bring that down. Then we're going to add what is inside of the parentheses. So using your calculator, go ahead and add what is inside of the parentheses. So I'm going to add 0.8 plus 2.4. And that is going to get us 3.2. And I'm going to leave that in the parentheses because we are multiplying this number by our height. Okay. From there, we can go on to the next step. I'm going to rewrite our A for area because we have not solved that yet. I'll bring down our equal sign. I'm going to rewrite the 1/2. And then I'm going to multiply these two numbers. So just to show you, we'll do 3.2 times 1, and that will get us 3.2. Even though we multiplied these two numbers, I'm going to leave my answer of 3.2 within parentheses because now we have to multiply it by 1/2. So we know from finding the area of a triangle that when we get to this step, we're going to do some division. So I'll do 3.2 divided by 2. Because if you take 1/2 and you put it in your orange calculator as 1/2 times 3.2, you won't get the answer. So when we get to this step, we flip-flop it to division. So from there, I'll use my calculator and do 3.2 divided by 2 to get 1.6. So the area of this trapezoid is 1.6 inches squared. Again, at any point in this video, pause to take your notes to follow along. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to problem 3. So we're going to skip 2 and go to 3. Now here we want to determine the area of the polygon. Okay, so this is a polygon. It is a shape made out of all straight sides. So from here, what we need to do is we're going to actually view this as what are we doing here? We're doing 10.8 is the height. Okay, we're going to take this polygon and we're going to view it as 2 triangles. Okay, so I have one triangle here, and then I have another triangle there. So we're going to split this up into 2 triangles, solving for the area of both triangles and then combining them. Okay, so let's label this top triangle the yellow triangle, triangle 1, and then let's label our salmon triangle, triangle 2. So we're going to find the area of both of those triangles and then combining them. So for triangle 1, our yellow triangle, we're going to go ahead and find the area of that. So remember, the area of a triangle, the formula for that is area equals 1/2 base times height. So let's go ahead and find our height and our bases for the yellow triangle there. Using our right angle, we can use that to help us figure out what the height and the base will be. Looking at the lines that are attached to the right angle symbol, this line right here is connected to the 10.8, and this line right here is connected to this entire dotted line with 21.6 and 8.1. So let's label 10.8 as let's label that as our base. And then let's label 21.6 and 8.1 as the height. And again, with base times height, you can flip-flop the base and the height. So if you wanted to call this the height, you can call that the height. And if you wanted this to be the base, that could be the base. And that works because of the commutative property. All right, so let's take our formula and fill in with what we know. So I don't know the area yet, so I'll rewrite my A. I'll bring down my equal sign. I'm not working with my 1/2 yet, so I'll rewrite that. The base we said was 10.8. So I'll rewrite that. And then the height we said was both 21.6 and 8.1. So we're going to add those two together. All right, now that we've filled in our formula with the information that we know, let's go ahead and solve this. We don't know area yet, so I'll rewrite A for area. I'll bring down the equal sign. I'll rewrite the 1/2. I don't need to do anything with the 10.8 yet, so I will rewrite that. And then I'm going to add these two together. So you can use your calculator to add the two together. So I'm going to add 21.6 plus 8.1 to get to 29.7. Okay, from there we can move on to the next step, which is multiplying these two together. So we don't know the area yet. I'll rewrite A for area. I'll bring down my equal sign. We are not working with our 1/2 yet, so I'll rewrite that. And then let's go ahead and multiply 10.8 and 29.7. When I multiply those two together, I get a very large number of 320.76. From there, I'm going to now solve this. At this step, you know that we're going to take this multiplication and we're going to turn it into division. So I will do 320.76 divided by 2. We can use our calculator to solve that. So I'll do 320.76 divided by 2 to get the area of, let's get the area of 160.38. And this is the area for the yellow triangle. Now let's go ahead and look at the area for the salmon colored triangle. So this is for triangle 2. Because I'm solving the area for triangle 2 of a triangle, I'm going to reuse our area formula of area equals 1/2 base times height. And let's look at our salmon colored triangle in more depth. We have a base, or we have a height, let's say, of 21.6 and 8.1. Because the yellow and the salmon triangle share that same line, we can go ahead and just say that this is the height of the salmon colored triangle, which would mean that this line right here is going to be our base and a base of 10.8. If we look more closely, we can see that these two triangles are exactly identical. The yellow triangle and the salmon triangle have the same exact measurements. So we don't need to do all of this again for the salmon colored because we've already done it one time. So we can say that the area of triangle 2 is also going to be 160.38. Because again, both of these triangles are identical in their numbers. So from there, to figure out the area of the entire polygon, all we would have to do is add the two areas together. So the area of the yellow triangle and the area of the salmon triangle, which is 160.38 plus 160.38. We can use our calculator to solve that. 160.38 plus 160.38 to get an area of 320.76 feet squared for the entire polygon. Again, pause the video at any point to rewatch the video to re-explain anything and then to take your own notes. Okay, let's go ahead and look at problem number 4. Problem number 4 is asking us to find the area that Scott needs to cover the floor of his room. So it says 4, Scott covers the floor of his room with carpet. The diagram represents the floor of Scott's room. So if we were looking at this from above, this is the layout of Scott's room, and he needs to figure out how much carpet he needs for this room. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to split this polygon up so we can find that area. Lucky for us, this polygon is all parallelograms, which is, a shape with 4 sides. So we can go ahead and split this into triangle 1 and into rectangle 1 and rectangle 2. Remember that the formula for area of a rectangle equals area equals base times height. So we can go ahead and use that. Looking at just this rectangle here, we can identify our base and our height. Let's go ahead and label 12 feet as our base, because this side is the same length as this side, so we can say that's our base. And then we're going to say that our height is 9 feet. We don't want to use 12 feet as our height because 12 feet is not just this portion of the rectangle, but it is the entire line. And we only want this part of the triangle, which is 9 feet. So let's find the area of the yellow triangle, our formula for, of rectangle. So our formula for the area of a rectangle is area equals base times height. I don't know my area, so I'm going to rewrite A. I'll bring down my equal sign. The base we said was 12, and we're going to multiply that by our height of 9. From there, I'll rewrite my A for area because that's what we're solving for. I'll bring down my equal sign, and then we can use our calculator or our mental math to solve 12 times 9. And when we do that, we get 108. So the area of our yellow rectangle is 108 feet squared. Now let's go ahead and solve the area of our smaller rectangle. Okay, so we can say that for this small rectangle, let's label the 4 feet our base. Now we have to figure out what the height is going to be of this small rectangle. And we know that this entire line that is attached to this rectangle is 12 feet. But we don't need this part. And because we have this over here, we know that this length is 9 feet. So in order to figure out the height of this, we can do 12 minus 9. And when we do 12 minus 9, we get 3. So the height of this rectangle is 3 feet. From there, we can go ahead and solve the area of this rectangle now that we know what our base and our height is. So our formula for area is area equals base times height. I'll rewrite my A because we don't know it yet. My base is 4 and the height is 3. From there, we can multiply those two numbers. So area equals 4 times 3, which is 12 feet squared. And this is the area of the small rectangle. But we're not done yet because Scott wants to know the total area for both of these two rectangles because he wants to know the area of his entire floor. So in order to solve that and figure out the total, we need to add the area from our yellow square, our rectangle, to the area of our purple rectangle. So we'll do 108 plus 12. We can use our calculator for that or your mental math. But when we do 108 plus 12, we get an area of 120 feet squared for the entire floor of Scott's room, which is answer B. Again, go back and rewatch this video if you need to at any point to stop and take your own notes, as these are going to be your notes for lesson 7. We will not be reviewing this in class.